All right, guys. I get a lot of questions about the coyote shells I reload. I'm starting to switch over. I always used to run 3 inch, but I'm gonna start running them during the big Mosquito Creek hunt or any big coyote hunts. But I've been starting to downsize everything, just for my normal hunting. And I've been switching down to running some 2 and 3/4 inch shells. I'm gonna run through two different loads that I make up for out of 2 and 3/4. First one, the Winchester double A 2 and 3/4. Just your run of your mill. Very great hauls and stuff to keep reloading. So, but first you got to do is take the primer out, deprime it, and resize it. I'm using a Rio primer, so resized it, got a new primer in it. The ones I use for the 2 and 3/4 and the double A's, I'll use 16 and a half grains of it's 700X powder. It's a fast burning powder designed more for trap shooting and stuff. Burns quick, shoots fast. You don't have to use a lot of grains. And if your loads are under an ounce and a quarter, like this here is going to be about an ounce and a 16th of lead, number 4 buck. So what we go with was 16.5 grains of powder. These are real light recoil loads too. If you're taking your kid, they barely kick at all, and they pattern grade out to 40, 45 yards. So got the 16.5 grains of 700X in there, and I use this. It's a Clay Buster CB 8100 wad. Just a small wad designed for about an ounce a shot. So sometimes they're a struggle to get in there. So I like to take my pinky, push it down in, and I got a little dowel rod, and I'll just make sure the wad's seated in there. When you're using a double A, it's a tapered hull, so you're going to have to make sure you're using wads that are designed for a tapered hull, or they won't seat down in there properly. And if you're using a wad for a tapered hull, but in like this Federal Top Gun, which is a straight walled hull, they won't fit in there right, and you'll have powder leakage. So, but now we're going to go with 21 number 4 buck, which works out to be right around 1.01 ounces a shot. Yep, so there's 21. And all I do is I just dump it down in. And it's not going to sit in there too pretty at the moment, but I'll just a little bit cover my thumb up and shake it a little bit. And that'll get you down in. Sometimes you got to maneuver them around a little bit. I try to get them sitting down in there. It's like the more I tilt it, the more it's got to go. But get them down in there sitting nice and level and flat. Usually it's 4, a couple rows of 4, and then like a row of 5 will get you up. So then you just stick it in, get your pre-crimp, and then turn it over to your final crimp. And I'll throw taper, crimp on and taper. So it'll give you a nice round. Tapers down the edge so it slides in out of your gun good. But that's a great one, and there's 21 pellets at 40 yards in a 10-inch circle. I was getting 11 to 12 BBs pellets per shot. Some are scattered out around it, but for a lightweight, low kicking coyote killing shell, that's a pretty good one. And the next one we're going to get into, a little bit, you can get a little bit more oomph out of it. We're going to use a Federal Top Flight. It's a straight walled haul, so you got to go with a different wad. So we're going to get the primer out and resize it. Going back in again with a Rio primer. So you get her in there, resize it so it fits back into your shotgun good. And then we're going to go with, it is 25. I have everything wrote down up here. Everything that, all the loads from my turkey loads to my coyote loads from different guns, you know what I mean? I have it marked out on there. You know, like this 2 3/4 inch turkey load for my kids. This shot right here is designed to be shot out of my Mossberg 835 with the Kicks Goblin Thunder 670 choke. You know, the pattern's great. I worked up the loads for each gun, each specific choke. So whatever I'm making, if I need to make more turkey shells for myself, I can just look up here. I got it right there. So, but we're gonna go with 25.5 grains of Pro Reach powder. Put your back over. And I went a little bit too heavy. Take a pinch out. I went real heavy. All right, there's 25.5 grains. Dump that into the Federal Top gun here. Oh, I have to give it a couple taps. I don't think you need to, but just to level the powder out. This is an MG42 wad. It's a great all-around wad for buckshot, turkeys. I use it for my turkey shells, almost all my straight wall haul coyote shells, and the number two lead load I use for foxes. So, but same thing, just put it down in here. Like I said, I usually this will press it in, but I end up usually just pushing it with my finger and just making sure it's seated down in there. On this load, it's going to take 29 number 4 buck, which is like 1.41 ounces roughly. Switch my scale over to ounces. There you go, 1.4099. Same thing. I usually dump about half in on this one. Give it a couple shakes. Usually, you want them to fall down in there where they want to fall in. This is like, it'll be like 4 in a row, and it'll almost like spiral up out. So, and then once you get your last row above the wad will be 5. Now you just dump the rest in. Give it a little bit of a shake, get them settled in there. Sometimes you got to maneuver them with your finger, but I can't tilt it too much. Get them down in there. I don't really use buffer too much. I have it, and I haven't really noticed that much of a difference. So, but there we just put her in here, crip her down. So there you have it. Now, these, like I said, these are 2 3/4 inch light coyote loads. I use them most of the time anymore now that I've figured out a couple loads that work good. No sense in sending 40 number 4 buck down range when you can send 29 or 21, you know, saving on material and everything like that. So, all right. Hope you like that. These are great little killers, especially, you know, if you don't want a gun to blow your shoulder off, or, you know, you're taking a kid out or so. But that's my 2 3/4 inch loads. So I'm going to be working on some more videos in here and hopefully get some kills on video so you guys can see them in action. So, all right, guys.